Hey everyone. My name is Joseph Ladelfa. I am re-recording this ERA talk because it got kind of lost in the beautiful chaos of that day. So yeah, this is what my Discord looks like. I'm from Australia, and my family and I moved to Sweden so I could complete a design PhD, and my wife can do a postdoc. Um, and now I work at BitCraze, also in Sweden, in the south of Sweden, um, who make tiny little drones, and I'm an industrial postdoc there. So I'm across there and at a robotics lab in KTH in Stockholm. Um, Now, at BitCraze, they make tiny drones for researchers, and they are a platform for a lot of the research that I do today. So they've got great open source software and firmware, great support community, and safe for indoor flying. So I was actually at IT University of Copenhagen a few weeks before ALife to present at a conference called DIS, Designing Interactive Systems. And I'll be presenting the same work that there as I'll be presenting today. So one of the major paradigms in the DIS community is called research through design. And research through design is like doing design without a client. So you get to ask questions like, how should design be done, or who should be doing design, and kind of through that questioning what kind of technological futures we might have in store for us. So in doing so, this brings RTD in tension with art and science. And artificial life seems to also inhabit this special epistemological tension between art and science, especially since a common turn of phrase in RTD is design as it could be, which is eerily similar to life as it could be. And so today I will present some work that I believe to be a bit of a stepping stone between the worlds of RTD and ALife, which is called How to Train Your Drone. So this is a drone system that was installed in someone's house, and it works by taking some drones from a charger, putting some hand sensors on, launching the drone, and using it as so. So on its first launch, it will spin on its own axis, and this means it cannot sense you. So if you hold your hand still, however, it will slow down and turn to face you. Just like that. So let's do that again with the lights on. Holding my hand still, the drone slows down. Oh, not still enough. Hold still, still, and snap. So what's happening here is that the drone has created two volumes in space where it can now sense me. And if my hands are in this space, then I can move it around. And if not, it goes back to spinning on its own axis. And here is what that looks like. So you can see moving my hands outside of those volumes means it goes back to spinning in space. So this means over time I can build up a number of these spheres in space, in the space around, the relative space around the drone, and that kind of constitutes where the drone can sense me. And this begins to take a bodily shape of its own. So I had 3 participants use the drones for 1 month. It was installed in their lounge room, and these are the shapes that emerged. And so if we can think of these shapes as kind of different organisms with different sensing apparatuses. And so the contribution to design research here is that instead of having the designer decide what the agent or the robot should do, we should allow the user to shape how it senses and let the function of the robot emerge. So for example, the blue drone's kind of sensory apparatus, or the Umwelt is the term that I used, is described by this characteristic big arc that comes out either side of the person facing the drone, and also some sparse sensitivity on top in the vertical space immediately above. And so this is because the person who used this drone liked to pull it up from the top and then put his hands out to the side and kind of expand them out in this arc shape. these were the spheres, these were the volumes of space that were created, that kind of emerged in this half emergence, half intelligent design, but definitely happened through using the drone. So in my thesis, I drew parallels between research through design and many of the principles from Rolf Pfeiffer's and Josh Bongard's book, How the Body Shapes the Way We Think. And this has led me to the ALife community. So by now you might be able to see similarities between the block pusher and the kind of shape of the agent, the shape of the drone's spheres around it. And the shape of the agent here defines what can be done, how it acts and how it senses. The morphology defines this. And so here I'm proposing that this evolutionary process is performed longitudinally with the user. So coming back to this slide where I said RTD is similar to ALife, we get to question what design is and who should do it. And so what I'm challenging here is just the generally accepted notion that designers' job is to give something to a group of people that they can all use kind of quickly and painlessly, this kind of user-centered design approach. And they may call upon some of these people in a co-design process, which is all well and good, or even draw from their own experience as inspiration for the design. But the principle of designing for a group still remains as the dominant mode. And I believe this kind of design is good and necessary, but what I deem problematic is that it's seen as kind of the only way to design. And so the design I'm talking about today is one that I want to do in the future, is where you allow the individual to understand the machine deeply and in their own way. So much that an appreciation or an interpretation of how that machine is in the world and what it should do and this sort of thing emerges from that process. And it also makes it a very meaningful way to engage with technology. So the individuals here also have to draw from what they feel and what they have felt in the past to drive a unique and meaningful interaction with their technology. So a final thought is often when I listen to ALife researchers talk, I hear terms like continuously self-evolve, like motivations to reach this continuous self-evolution, and other quips like, oh, the system has reached an equilibrium. If only I could run the simulation longer, then maybe we break out of it. So I think that perhaps having end users continuously involved in the way that I showed today is a kind of a way to avoid these conditions occurring, because each individual brings with them like their own constellation of lived experience, skills, and interpretations of the technology. And this is kind of happening already. We have researchers who cross the sim to real gap, and they have an intimate knowledge of a quadruped in the simulated world and the physical world, and they are going back and forth, and they reach some improved metric on locomotion. And I see this as a real shame, because the journey to get there and the knowledge that those researchers have and interpretations have about their machines is completely ignored in the publication. And it's kind of like an opera singer kind of having this very rich voice and powerful voice, but they think that their job is to just break glasses. And so I'm wondering if research through design and ALife can combine here to kind of unlock the journey that these researchers go through and the interpretations that they have with the technology for a broader purpose. So if you're interested in the themes that I've been talking about here, please get in contact. This is my website, and you can read the paper here. It's actually a pictorial, which is kind of more like the picture book equivalent of a peer-reviewed academic paper. So please enjoy. Thanks.